Welcome back. Hey, what's up? I want to talk about Cobra Kai season 4. I wanted to watch and review the Eternals. I got 10 minutes into it and said, "Wow, this is boring and I don't care." So I tried, and 10 minutes in, I said no. So let us discuss. I tried. Cobra Kai season 4, which I'm going to go ahead and say it is probably the best series they've done so far. Now, this is the first one that's Netflix produced, right? Where it's strictly a Netflix show. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe they had a better idea for how to pace it out. There's a lot less, at least it felt to me like there was a lot less fighting. A lot less over the top fighting. There was a lot of fights in the first 3 seasons that I thought, man, people are going to jail in a real situation like this. And why isn't anybody calling the police? Or where is everybody? And I didn't feel that way in season 4, not nearly as much. There's still a couple of moments where you're kind of left scratching your head, but it feels like it's a lot more about the characters. Now, the one downside to that, it does feel kind of soap opera-ish. And as season 4 rolls along and we finish off season 4, it really felt soap opera like. I was getting some pretty hefty vibes of, wait, what? Why? But I will say, I think it's improved the show to have different things going on and not necessarily a completely linear storyline. And by linear, I just mean that they're taking different paths to get there than I'd envisioned that they might. Not that it's like a movie that's shot backwards. If you want that, you can watch Memento, which is an excellent movie. But and then there's Tenet, which is just ball of confusion. Still confusing to me. I've tried a couple of times. Tenet doesn't work. It just doesn't. So with Cobra Kai season 4, if you haven't seen it, I can highly recommend it. If you haven't watched the show, again, I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. If you're not worried about spoilers, by all means, continue on through this video. Are we good? If we're good, I shall continue. I assume we're good. All right, so I thought what was nice this year was that it's not just all the bad kids are Cobra Kai and all the good kids are Miyagi-Do or Eagle Fang. I thought it was great that there were instances where certain members of Cobra Kai you could feel for, and certain members of other dojos you're like, wow, what a jerk. Like Hawk/Eli. He goes back and forth. Now, to me, they need to get clearer on what the plan is for him, because it feels like he's two different characters sometimes in the same episode, where he's bullying kids and you're like, okay, so he's still a bully, and then later on he's kind of, fighting with his own self-esteem, and it, I don't know, it just kind of felt like it was all over the place with his character a little more than the others. Johnny, they add some vulnerability there, and the relationship between Daniel and Johnny, and the fact that they've got one, the fact that they're finally working through it, I think is nice. And the only thing is, at the end of season 4, you can see that they're kind of like, all right, we've made amends. Yeah, they did that at the end of season 3 too, and then they were fighting within 5 minutes of the start of season 4. So I don't necessarily believe they're going to be able to remain, friends on that level, but I do think that with what happened at the end of the season, so they must have listened to me, right? I love Chosen. Chosen was my favorite character in season 3. I thought he was awesome. The fact that he's going to be in season 5 makes me excited. The fact that, in the end, Cobra Kai wins. So the whole wager is that if Cobra Kai wins, then Johnny and Daniel-san are done, right? They're done. That's it. No more Miyagi-Do and no more of Eagle Fang. But Chosen, he can start up whatever he wants. And Chosen is a good one to bring in because Terry Silver is crazy. And I thought they wrote his character, like Karate Kid 3, I tried watching 3 months ago now. I know I tried watching it, and it's virtually unwatchable. It is terrible. And you get like 5 minutes into that, and you're like, wow, the acting is so hammy and so over the top, and it's just so ridiculous. that for me, sometimes I can enjoy that, sometimes not so much. And Terry Silver is kind of a terrible villain too. Like he's just so cartoonish in how he's portrayed and written, and it basically rehashes the first movie in a lot of ways. Now, in this series, I thought he was written pretty well, although he flipped the script quickly to, okay, now I'm back to being Terry and I'm at Cobra Kai, and I thought, doesn't he have other things to do? Are we going to talk about anything from the... No, we're not going to get into that, so maybe we do next year. I know that they finished filming season 5. The speculation is they'll probably release season 5 in May or June and get that going. So the other part with Cobra Kai that I've always been concerned about is, at one point you're going to run out of characters. At one point you're going to run out of twists you can bring into it, and you got to stop. So that's they need to know when to stop. I thought it was interesting too that as the season went along, they kind of added a layer of caring for Crease. I think John Crease has been written just weird. And I do wonder, like, okay, so who's the real John Crease? Is he really this almost cartoonishly evil supervillain, or is he not? And I'm still on the fence as to whether or not I buy some of the things for him. So like him and Terry having it out at the end of the season, and Terry framing him and him going off to jail. Uh, I don't know how far that goes. Is that going to lead to Crease working with Johnny? Are Crease and Johnny going to be on one side? You're going to have Chosen and Daniel on another. And then you're going to have Terry Silver with Mike Barnes. Because that's been speculated too, that Mike Barnes, who was the foil for Daniel in Karate Kid 3, that he might be brought in for season 5. And then, yeah, then the only thing that's left is Hilary Swank's next Karate Kid, which Ralph Macchio has said, yeah, she it's canon. She could absolutely be in one of the series. She could be in there at some point. We'll see what they do. There were no cameos for Elizabeth Shue. There was a lot of fan speculation about whether or not her character might be brought in for something else, and she wasn't. And I'm fine with that. I think Johnny's relationship with Miguel's mother, I think that's great. I thought it was interesting the way that was written. I did think that Miguel going off to find his dad, I think that's a natural progression for his character. I did get concerned too in the tournament when the jump kick happens, and of course that's your teaser for the next episode, and he goes down in pain, and I thought, did he just break his legs again? And then they said it was a pulled muscle, and it's like, but we heard a crack. I've pulled a muscle, I've never heard a crack. I'm not saying you can't, just saying I haven't with muscles I've pulled over the years, and I've definitely had, and not maybe it's a different muscle, but a crack like that. I mean, I could see an Achilles tendon causing that kind of. But anyways, it was just one of those little things. The interesting thing I found too is that as the season goes along, Sam gets more and more whiny, and it's obvious that the LaRusso kids are now being written as spoiled and entitled. I know that that's always kind of been there from the beginning, but it seems like that's becoming more and more of a feature of their character, and they're making Terry, or Tori, I should say, very sympathetic character, and I'm calling it now. She is not going to be a villain in the next season. And I don't think Robbie will either. I'm not sure what the plan is with Robbie and Tori, because without them in Cobra Kai, well, who would you have in Cobra Kai then? Who becomes the big one? Is it going to be Kyler? Kyler is not... He hasn't been built up enough as a major threat. I think he could have been, but he hasn't been. I was actually kind of hoping when Johnny was looking around for somebody to bring into Cobra Kai, or to bring into Eagle Fang, I was really kind of hoping that Moon would do it, but it was true to her character not to do it. So I do like a lot of the characterizations. I thought Kenny being brought in was interesting, and I thought it showed a realistic way that a bully can be created. Bullies aren't always just the guys that start out as bullies. You can bully someone into becoming one themselves. I've seen that. I saw that when I was in school, where somebody would be bullied and then they just snap, and then they become the one you're worried about in the hallway because they've just had enough. And Kenny had just had enough. So I thought Anthony was written okay. It is interesting too, his growth spurt. In season 3, they really didn't address it, that Anthony looks completely different because he went through his growth spurt. And in season 4, they kind of address it, and he says growth spurt, and then it's never addressed again. I do wonder again though, how far can you go? How many seasons can you do before people say, all right, I've had enough. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think season 5 will necessarily get us there, but shows can overstay their welcome, and hopefully this one does not. I've got my fingers crossed on that. So what I'm interested in knowing from people watching this is, what did you think of Cobra Kai season 4? Is everybody as stoked as I am to see Chosen on this side of the pond training kids in karate? Because I am. Because again, the bet was that if they lose, Daniel and Johnny aren't senseis. All right, didn't say anything about Chosen. And so Chosen comes over, and he's willing to help them out. So will he call it Miyagi-Do Karate? Will he call it something else? The Chosen Ones? Come on, it's right there. But anyways, we'll see. I also thought it was interesting that Carrie Underwood was there. I will say this in closing. That tournament, the way it's shot, the way it's announced, the over-the-top, ham-fisted, some of the acting in it, I was brought into dodgeball territory, especially when Miguel is out and they're counting it down, and I'm like, Peter LaFleur's running in, right? Here comes Peter LaFleur. And I was waiting for the purple cobras to come in and like I was waiting for it, because it felt like it was being set up for William Shatner to come out as the new guy that's in charge of the tournament, Chuck Norris to give a vote on whether or not Miguel can continue. It just felt like dodgeball. It was so close for me. It's just the city, not city council, the council that does the planning of the tournament and all that. They're so hammy. I yeah, and then Carrie Underwood, and I'm like, why would, oh, hello All Valley. What in the world? This is just, I know when I've watched it with my wife, her comment has always been, isn't this just like a small karate tournament? Why are there so many people that care about what happened in a tournament in the 80s? Exactly. It is an alternate universe. It's a lot of fun, and I get a kick out of it. So I did like too the twist that Eli actually wins. I did like the twist as well that Sam does not, and how she does not. Because when you're watching the match, you're like, well, I guess the referee just missed that. Nope. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts, what you think's going to happen in season 5, where you think they're going to take it. And again, is everybody as stoked as I am for Chosen? Because I am. I'm just so psyched for him as a main character. I think, my life's gone to this moment. So there you go. I just do all the hockey videos so that I can come over here every now and then and talk to you guys about the stuff I really care about, like Cobra Kai. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will talk to you again soon.